Alright, so the Eagles are nearing the end of training camp, which means most positional battles have been pretty much decided, but one rookie is making things interesting, as it seems he could possibly be trying to make a late push to start at a surprising position, so what are the chances of him pulling it off? Meanwhile, AJ Brown just made a statement as he dominated the Eagles defense during practice, and it seems like he's on his way to having a monster year. Plus, the Eagles defensive line and pass rush continue to be impressive, while the Birds also did get an unfortunate injury scare to one of their biggest star players, so let's talk about that and all the other latest Eagles news. And we won't waste any time, let's get straight into it. So one of the biggest positional battles during training camp has been the battle going on at the cornerback position, and that applies both outside and inside. And I think at this point, it's pretty easy to tell who the clear favorites are to start at both spots, as Isaiah Rodgers seems to be the front runner on the outside, while Quinyon Mitchell seems to be the most likely option on the inside. And a recent article from Eagles reporter and ESPN writer Tim McManus only seemed to further confirm that this is the direction that things are trending, as in the article he went into detail on the cornerback battle, saying, quote, "The battle for the outside corner spot opposite Darius Slay Jr. between former Indianapolis Colt Isaiah Rodgers and second-year player Kelee Ringo has been a good one. While they continue to split reps, Rodgers has been getting the nod at the start of practice more frequently of late and can probably be considered the front runner at this point." And again, this is no surprise, as Rodgers has started at cornerback for 11 of the team's 14 practices during training camp, and he's looked good, as he's made plays throughout camp, including blanketing AJ Brown and DeVonta Smith on several occasions and getting some good pass breakups. And Rodgers has even earned some praise from some of his star teammates, including Darius Slay, who had this to say about him just a couple weeks ago.
Athletic, special, you know, he could do special teams, he's a great returner, guy got speed, he could track the ball very well, he's getting way better in his press technique. So I've been watching him lately, man. He's been doing a great job, man. And for him to be sitting out for a whole year to come in like that and still be on top of his game, it's a good feeling.
So again, with all that, it's just no surprise that Rodgers is the current favorite to start. And then moving on in McManus' article, he also talked about the nickel position, saying, quote, "Mitchell, meanwhile, appears on track to be the starter in the slot. Mitchell projects as an outside corner long term, but defensive coordinator Vic Fangio said he, quote, may have to play him at nickel for now in order to get the best combination of players on the field. Fellow rookie Cooper DeJean was also in the running for that post, but is now just returning from a hamstring injury that cost him a valuable 3-week period." So this is pretty much the same sort of thing that I've said in my last few videos, being that while DeJean is in the running due to his current primary position being nickel cornerback, him missing time is going to make it really tough on him to earn that starting spot, especially while Quinyon Mitchell has learned that position quickly and looks really good at it. And like McManus said, he's kind of established himself at that spot, and he's been getting the majority of first team reps there during practice. So again, it seemed like heading into Tuesday's practice that these two positional battles were all but pretty much officially decided. However, things did take a slight turn on Tuesday, as it wasn't Isaiah Rodgers who started at outside cornerback opposite Darius Slay as he usually does, but it was instead Quinyon Mitchell before he moved back to the nickel position. And Martin Frank gave us a bit more detail as he tweeted out, quote, "Note, this is the first time Quinyon took the first snap on the outside. He has worked in there before with the first team, so this is big in my opinion." Now honestly, this could be big like Frank said, or it could be nothing. I mean, Vic Fangio has made it clear that they like Quinyon as an outside guy long term, so it makes sense that they wouldn't want to completely switch his position to nickel, and they'd want to get him some snaps on the outside as well. Plus, Mitchell did move back inside after he started outside, so it could just be Fangio trying to utilize Mitchell in different ways and throw different looks out there, or maybe this could be a sign that the Eagles like what they've seen from Mitchell so much that they want to give him a chance to earn the starting job on the outside this late in camp. I mean, the guy has now been able to match up against two of the best receivers in the game a lot of times in practice, and Mitchell consistently holds his own, including today, when Quinyon went one-on-one with DeVonta Smith on back-to-back plays, and they went back and forth, with Mitchell shutting down the first route from Smitty, who told him, quote, "Good play, Q," and then DeVonta got the best of the rookie on the second route, and Quinyon said, quote, "Now that's a route," after notoriously calling Smitty and AJ's routes trash in previous practices. But I honestly think that the big takeaway here is that Quinyon continuously is able to hold his own against two of the best receivers in the game. So again, if Mitchell's start on the outside today signifies that the Eagles are giving him a chance to start there, then you can't really blame them, but then you also got to wonder what it means or if it's fair to Isaiah Rodgers, who has played pretty well. Now ultimately, I still think Rodgers will end up getting the start on the outside while Quinyon starts in the slot, but this new development today did just throw a little bit of unknown into the cornerback situation just when we thought it was completely decided. Now something that is pretty much completely decided is the battle at the right guard position, as Mekhi Becton has clearly won that at this point, as after coming over from the Jets as a tackle this offseason, Becton has handled every challenge the Eagles have thrown at him, including the switch to right guard, and he's made the most out of his opportunities, and it allowed him to beat out Tyler Steen for the right guard job. However, Becton did experience a bit of a setback on Sunday as he injured his right leg during practice, so that definitely caused a bit of concern as the right guard position just might be the biggest question mark the Eagles have on the roster right now, and Becton's injury complicated that even further. However, we did get some good news on that front as Jeff McLean tweeted out, quote, "Diagnosis on Eagles right guard Mekhi Becton, who left practice early with an apparent right leg injury, was that it's nothing serious per NFL sources." So it's definitely a relief that Becton is okay and the injury is not a serious one. And aside from the end of Sunday's practice, Becton actually didn't end up missing any time, as he was out there for Tuesday's session in full pads and ready to go. And he wasn't even listed on the injury report, so that's definitely fantastic news, and again, just glad to see that Becton's okay. And then, in some other injury news, the Eagles had a bunch of guys return to practice on Tuesday, being defensive tackle Gabe Hall, tight end EJ Jenkins, tackle Lane Johnson, who just had a vet day on Sunday, so he's not coming back off an injury, and then wide receiver Joe Ngata and defensive tackle Moro Ojomo were back at practice as well. So that was all definitely good news. And then the Eagles also saw a few other players ramp up in their recovery, as a bunch of guys that have been limited in practice were full participants today, being linebacker Oren Burks, tight end Grant Calcaterra, cornerback Cooper DeJean, and safety CJ Gardner-Johnson. And for DeJean and CJ Gardner-Johnson specifically, this is particularly exciting because we know that both are important pieces to the Eagles defense and they both miss significant time, so it's good for both of them to be completely healthy and just back out there in full capacity. However, as opposed to all the positive injury updates the Eagles had on Tuesday, they also did have a few injury scares, one of them involving one of their best and most important players. Now, one of the injuries was to left guard Trevor Keegan, who has been a preseason standout, as the rookie limped off the field later in practice and was being looked at by trainers, so hopefully he ends up being okay. But the more notable injury scare was to Saquon Barkley, as he was seen at one point on the sidelines during a special teams drill, getting his leg and lower back worked on by a trainer. And then the bad news was that when the Eagles resumed offense versus defense team drills, Barkley wasn't out there, so that certainly isn't what you want to hear, because we obviously are all super excited about Barkley, and he's going to be a crucial piece for the Eagles offense this year, so you just don't want to hear any negative injury news on him. But based on the reporting, it seems like Barkley's probably okay and the injury isn't too serious, fingers crossed, but you never know. So this will definitely be a situation to monitor moving forward, and I'll make sure to keep you guys updated on what's going on with Barkley, whatever it may be, in these next few days. Now, as far as the rest of the offense goes, though, some of the Eagles playmakers made some incredible plays during practice, and don't worry, we're going to get into that and so much more in just a minute. But real quick, I do want to say, if you are enjoying this video and don't want to miss any more Eagles preseason, training camp, or regular season coverage coming in the future, then make sure you subscribe, and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when one of these videos is uploaded. I think that's a win-win for the both of us, because not only do I get more people consistently watching these videos, but you don't miss any other Eagles content or coverage just like this. So again, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, and also drop a like on this video. Let's see if we can hit 1,000 likes today. And now with all that being said, let's get back into the video. Okay, so getting back to the best offensive plays of the day, we'll start out with AJ Brown, who made a few of his best plays of training camp. As in one-on-ones, Brown was matched up with star cornerback Darius Slay, and Slay had tight coverage on the play, but Brown was still able to make a spectacular grab as he spun around and caught the back shoulder pass with just one hand. So really, I mean, it's no surprise that AJ was able to make a play like that, and it was also no surprise later when he made another spectacular play as he hauled in a 45-yard pass from Jalen Hurts on a go route with Quinyon Mitchell in coverage. And again, I mean, the coverage for Mitchell was good, but AJ's just special, and he was able to make the grab after getting a step. And overall, it was just an awesome day for AJ, as Brandon Lee Gowton tweeted out, quote, "Brown has been unguardable. Every target his way in team drills has been a catch." So it's good to hear that AJ balled out in practice, and it's also a warning for the rest of the league, because I really do feel like AJ might just have his best year yet this season. And also, let's not forget about DeVonta Smith, as he made a great play later in practice, catching a deep 30+ yard touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts in the corner of the end zone, despite pass interference from Keely Ringo, as Smitty leapt into the air to come down with a great catch. So just like AJ, it's definitely awesome to hear that Smitty's making plays at practice, and overall, I just couldn't be more excited about this duo heading into the season, because I think they're going to do great things. And someone else who I think is going to do great things this year is Jalen Hurts, as the QB had another great practice today, as he's obviously the one that made all those great throws on those nice plays made by the wide receivers, and his numbers in the day were also overall very good once again, as he completed 23 of his 28 passes with a touchdown, and once again, no interceptions. And it's honestly just crazy that Jalen still hasn't thrown a pick yet through 15 practices at training camp, and if he doesn't throw one in these next 2 practices, then he'll have gone all of training camp without throwing a pick, which is just honestly unheard of. And perhaps the craziest part about it is, it doesn't really seem like that's a product of the defense being bad either, as those guys have been making plays and they've also been able to get a lot of pressure on Hurts recently, as Vic Fangio has been working on implementing the blitz more recently, and they've been very effective at it. Plus, the defensive line specifically has been on a tear recently, including today, with Elliott Shore-Parks tweeting out, quote, "Defensive line getting plenty of pressure on Jalen Hurts today in 11v11. And Jalen Carter has been the guy leading the charge for the defensive line, as he makes plays just every single day at practice, including today, where he got a tackle for loss on Saquon Barkley in the backfield. And also, in addition to that, veteran Brandon Graham even got a sack on Hurts. So it's just great to hear that overall the defensive line continues to play well during practice, and I'm just so excited to watch the young guys specifically in that group this year, because I really do think they're going to be great. Now, the Eagles have just 2 practices left at training camp before the preseason finale against the Vikings, and then they have roster cuts, and I'm going to be covering everything from all that. So again, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of that coverage. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like to show some support. If you did enjoy this video, I'd greatly appreciate it, because it does help me out a ton. Again, let's see if we can hit 1,000 likes on today's video, and also leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you want to watch another video going over their last practice at training camp, you can check this out right here. And now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.